Have you ever tried building a website with Claude and felt completely overwhelmed by all the technical coding? You're not alone. Most beginners think they need to become programmers overnight just to create a simple website, spending hours wrestling with complex prompts and burning through credits faster than they can afford. But here's what nobody's telling you. There's actually a way to build websites with Claude that's faster, more powerful, and requires zero technical knowledge. While everyone else is struggling with the traditional Claude coding platform, I discovered something that changes everything. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build a website with Claude code for beginners. But we're not doing it the hard way that everyone teaches. Instead, I'll reveal a tool called Base44 that uses Claude as its language model but wraps it in an AI system specifically designed for beginners. This means you get better websites than you could build yourself on regular Claude platforms, with fewer prompts, lower costs, and absolutely no coding headaches. I'm gonna walk you through the entire process step by step, show you real examples of websites built this way, and by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to create professional websites without touching a single line of code. Plus, I'll share some insider tips that will save you hours of frustration and help you avoid the common mistakes that trip up most beginners. So if you've been putting off building that website because coding feels too intimidating, this is exactly what you've been waiting for. Base44 is one of the best Claude code wrappers at this moment. I added a special link in the description so you can check it out. Now, if you want to master Base44 and learn how to build profitable websites, AI agents, SaaS apps, and mobile apps with AI, I've created a complete masterclass that shows you exactly how to do it step by step. This masterclass normally costs $2.99 to join, but since you're watching this video, you can join completely free. Check the link in the description to get free access to the Base44 masterclass and start building your AI-powered business today. Claude Code is one of the most advanced AI tools right now when it comes to building software. It's developed by Anthropic, and the way it works is pretty straightforward on its surface. You describe what you want in plain English, and it generates the code for you. But what makes it different is how well it actually understands intent. You're not just giving commands, you're describing outcomes. And Claude figures out how to structure everything behind the scenes. It can take a broad idea, like building a web app or a full website, and turn that into organized, logical code. It's thinking in terms of systems, how different parts connect, how the logic flows, how everything works together. That's why a lot of developers treat it like a real coding partner instead of just a tool. But even with all that power, there's still a catch. Using Claude directly isn't as simple as just typing a prompt and getting a finished product. Most of the time, you're dealing with command line interfaces, handling files yourself, and making sure different pieces of code actually connect properly. If something breaks, you need to figure out why. If you want to launch what you built, you still have to set up hosting, configure everything, and sometimes even connect a database manually. So while Claude can generate the code, turning that into something live and usable still takes technical knowledge. And for a lot of people, that's the part that slows everything down. Now, imagine using that same level of AI, but without having to deal with any of that extra setup. That's where platforms like Base44 come into the picture. Instead of you managing all the moving parts, everything is already handled in the background. You're still using Claude's intelligence, but in a way that actually lets you focus on what you're trying to build instead of how to build it. A lot of people hear about Claude and assume that once you have AI generating code, everything else is basically solved. But in reality, there's still a big gap between getting code and having something that actually works as a finished product. Using Claude on its own sounds powerful, and it is. But what it actually looks like in practice is very different from what most people expect. Without any kind of platform around it, you're not just prompting anymore. You're effectively taking on the role of the entire development team. You're the one responsible for turning raw output into something functional, stable, and live. Because at the end of the day, Claude gives you code. It doesn't give you a complete deployable solution. So if you ask Claude to build a website, what you usually get back is a collection of code files. That means HTML for structure, CSS for styling, and JavaScript for functionality. And from there, it's on you. If something doesn't look right visually or a button doesn't behave the way it should, you need to understand those languages well enough to go in and fix the issue yourself. Even small UI bugs or logic errors require manual edits. Then you move into hosting, which is another layer entirely. Getting your site online isn't automatic. You need to set up a hosting environment using services like Versal or AWS, configure deployment settings, and make sure everything runs properly once it's live. For someone without technical experience, that step alone can be confusing and time-consuming. And once your site needs real functionality, like storing user data or handling submissions, you run into another limitation. Claude can generate database logic, but it doesn't actually provision a database for you. You still have to connect external tools like Supabase, configure them correctly, and make sure your front-end and back-end are communicating without errors. Security is also completely your responsibility in that setup. You have to make sure that your site has SSL certificates, that user data is encrypted properly, and that your system is protected against things like bots or basic attacks. None of that is handled automatically unless you know how to implement it yourself. Even something as expected as mobile responsiveness isn't guaranteed out of the box. You still have to handle different screen sizes manually, working with viewpoint settings, media queries, and layout adjustments to make sure your site doesn't break on phones or tablets. That's another full layer of work on top of everything else. And beyond all of that, there are the technical barriers that come with working this way. Writing effective prompts for code generation is one of them. If your prompt is too vague, you'll often end up with broken features or incomplete outputs, and then you have to figure out how to fix that. Debugging becomes part of the process, which means manually tracing through logic, understanding how the code flows, and sometimes even monitoring things through a terminal. Integration is another major challenge. Connecting a front-end interface to a back-end database is one of the most common failure points, especially for beginners. If those pieces don't align perfectly, your app simply won't work the way it's supposed to. On top of that, you're managing file structures and dependencies. You have to keep track of folders, libraries, and version compatibility. It turns into a constant process of organizing and maintaining everything just to keep the project stable. So even though Claude is helping you generate code, the overall time investment doesn't disappear. You're still looking at days, sometimes even weeks, to get something fully working, tested, and ready to launch. A lot of that time goes into wiring everything together manually. And this is really the missing piece that most people don't realize. Claude gives you the building blocks, but not the full system. A real product needs more than just code. It needs hosting, security, databases, user management, and a way to actually run as a complete application that people can use. Base44 fills that gap by acting as the connective layer. It takes Claude's output and handles the infrastructure around it, the parts that would normally require a full development team. So you're not stuck trying to assemble everything on your own. But here's the thing, Base44 is incredibly powerful, but most people don't know how to use it properly. They end up building basic apps that don't make money or websites that don't convert. That's exactly why I created my complete Base44 Masterclass. Inside this course, I'll show you step by step how to build profitable SaaS businesses, high-converting websites, and mobile apps, all using AI with zero coding required. You'll learn how to build SaaS apps that solve real problems and generate recurring revenue, the exact prompts and strategies I use to create professional websites in minutes, how to clone successful apps and add your own profitable twist, my proven system for turning Base44 projects into actual income streams. This isn't just theory. I'll walk you through real builds, show you my exact process, and give you the templates and frameworks that have helped my students launch successful AI-powered businesses. If you're serious about building something profitable with AI in 2026, click the link in the description to join the Base44 Masterclass. Your future self will thank you for taking action today instead of just watching tutorials. Alright, Base44 takes everything Claude can do and turns it into something you can actually use without dealing with all the technical layers behind it. It's now part of Wix, and the way it's built is very different from using raw AI tools. Instead of giving you code and expecting you to figure out the rest, Base44 creates a complete environment where everything is already connected. It uses Claude under the hood, especially models like Sonnet and Opus, but wraps that intelligence inside a system that handles the full development process for you. So rather than working with separate pieces like front-end, back-end, hosting, and databases, everything happens in one place through a single prompt bar. At its core, Base44 is designed for what people call vibe coding. You're not thinking about syntax or structure anymore. You're describing what you want at a high level, and the platform translates that into a working application built with technologies like React and TypeScript. The technical side is still there, but it's abstracted away so you don't have to manage it directly. That changes how you approach building completely. You don't need any coding experience to use it. The platform understands natural language, so instead of writing code, you're just explaining your idea. You're acting more like a product manager. Focus on what you want the app to do rather than trying to figure out how to build it step by step. The results are also immediate. When you submit a prompt, the AI doesn't just generate placeholders, it builds out polished layouts and real functionality, including more complex features like logic-based tools or dynamic components. And it does that in minutes. Everything else that normally slows people down is already handled in the background. Hosting is built in, so your app can go live without setting anything up manually. Security is included by default, with things like SSL certificates already configured. You don't have to think about deployment or server management at all. Mobile responsiveness is also automatic. The apps you build are designed to adapt across desktop, tablet, and mobile without needing extra adjustments. You're not writing separate rules or fixing layouts for different screen sizes. It's already taken care of. The same goes for data and user systems. If your app needs a database or logging functionality, Base44 generates that automatically based on your prompts. Tables are created, and authentication flows like signing in with Google are set up without you having to connect external tools. A simple way to think about it is this. You're still using Claude's brain, but now it's paired with a full web development team that handles execution for you. You get the reasoning and flexibility of a senior developer, combined with a system that can actually build, connect, and launch everything in one flow. Alright, let's actually run through a full build so you can see what this looks like when you're doing it yourself. Head over to base44.com and click the Start Building button on the top right. You can log in with Google if you want faster access, or sign up with your email. Once you're inside, you'll land on the dashboard, and right in the center, you'll see a prompt panel. That panel is essentially your entire workspace. You're not using a traditional editor or setting things up manually. This is where you describe your website and let the system handle the build. For this example, we're creating a multi-page agency portfolio called Lumina Digital. The idea is to build something that looks polished enough to actually be used for a real business. Before typing anything, click the settings icon on the lower left side of the prompt panel and switch the model to Sonnet 4.6. This ensures the system is using Claude's model, which is important because it handles structure and logic more reliably. If you skip the steps, you might still get results, but they won't be as consistent. Now for the initial prompt. Paste this exactly. Act as a senior web architect. Build a professional digital marketing agency website called Lumina Digital. Structure it with 4 pages: home, services, case studies, and contact. Use a sleek dark mode theme with gold accents. On the homepage, include a hero section with a schedule a strategy session button and a featured client's logo slider. The reason this prompt works well is because it's doing more than just describing a website. It's setting a role, defining the business type, specifying the structure, and adding design direction. That combination gives the AI enough context to build something coherent instead of guessing. If the prompt is too vague, you usually end up with something generic or incomplete. Click Run and give it a few minutes. What's happening in the background is the system is breaking your instructions into layers. First, it figures out the structure, what pages exist, and how they're organized. Then it maps out layouts for each page and generates the front end using frameworks like React and Tailwind CSS. After that, it compiles everything and renders a live version directly in the interface. That's why you're not seeing raw code, you're seeing a working site immediately. Once it's done, open the Pages menu at the top and go through each page: Home, Services, Case Studies, and Contact. You'll notice everything is already there. The layout is structured, sections are in place, and content is filled in. This is important because it removes the hardest part of building, which is starting from a blank page. From here, we can start refining. If you want to adjust the design, go back to the prompt bar and type. On the home page, make the hero headline font size 64px and add a subtle glowing border to the Schedule a Strategy session button. Ensure the logo slider scrolls infinitely. Run that and you'll see the changes applied directly. This focuses on the UI layer. We're improving how things look and behave visually here. This is similar to tweaking CSS in a traditional setup, but instead of writing styles manually, you're describing the outcome. Next, let's bring in branding. Click the plus icon next to the prompt bar and upload your logo. Then type. Use this uploaded logo for the header. Adjust all buttons to match the goal hex code found in the logo. On the Services page, add 3 cards for SEO strategy, PPC management, and content marketing with professional descriptions. This step handles visual identity and content alignment. The logo ensures consistency across the site, while matching button colors ties everything together. Adding service cards also makes the site more specific to the business, instead of relying on generic placeholder content. Now, let's move into functionality. Go to the Contact page. There's usually already a form there, but at this stage, it's only visual. It doesn't store anything yet. To fix that, type. In the Contact page, save all entries to a new database table called Prospect Leads. Run it, then go to the dashboard and open the Data tab. You'll see a new table called Prospect Leads. What just happened here is you connected the front end to a back-end system. The form now sends data somewhere instead of just displaying fields. This is one of the key differences between a static site and a functional one. Data is being captured and stored. Next, switch to the Case Studies page. Click the Edit Elements tool in the lower left corner, then select the section where you want to add the content. Enter this. Create a 3-column responsive grid gallery. Each item should feature a placeholder for our client logo, a bold result metric like plus 300% ROAS, and a View Full Case Study button. Add a hover animation that scales the card and changes the button color to gold. Run that and the layout updates. This step improves how information is presented. Instead of plain sections, you now have a structured interactive gallery. The hover effects add feedback, and the grid layout makes it easier for users to scan results quickly. Now, go back to the home page and select a section below the hero. Then type. Place an additional section here, and in the section, add a sleek auto-playing testimonial slider. Each slide should include a circular headshot placeholder, a 5-star rating, a quote, and the client's name/title. Use a dark background with white typography. Run it and you'll see the update. This adds social proof. Testimonials change how users perceive the site. They make it feel more credible. It's one of those elements that doesn't affect functionality directly, but has a big impact on trust. Finally, we are going to handle visibility. Type this. Fully SEO optimize all pages with meta descriptions and headers for digital marketing agency. Create a sitemap.xml for Google and an LLMS.txt file so that AI models can easily summarize my agency's services. This step works in the background. It's not something you visually notice right away, but it affects how your site gets discovered. Meta descriptions, structured headers, and files like sitemap.xml help search engines understand your site. The LLMS.txt file does something similar for AI systems, making your content easier to interpret and surface. Looking at the full process, each step is handling a different layer of the build. The first prompt creates structure, the next one's refine design, and then you add functionality, and finally optimization. You're still covering the same stages as traditional development, just without switching tools or writing code. Everything is happening through a single interface, but under the hood, you're building a complete system piece by piece. After getting the core site in place, the next step is making sure everything behind it is just as solid as you would see on the surface. Base 44 isn't limited to front-end design. It also gives you access to backend functionality, which is something most no-code tools either simplify too much or don't fully support. If you look at the tab navigation bar and click the dashboard icon, you'll see tabs for users and data. Those two sections are where you manage everything behind the scenes. Inside the Users tab, you can add people to your project and control what they can access. You can invite team members, assign roles, and set permissions depending on what you want them to do. For example, someone could have access to view data but not edit the site, or manage users without touching the design. This is the kind of control you'd normally expect from a more advanced system. But here, it's built in. The Data tab handles everything related to your databases. Any form submissions, stored content, or structured data your site relies on will appear here. Instead of connecting external tools or setting up a database manually, you're managing it directly inside the same environment. That removes a lot of the friction that usually comes with backend setup. Beyond that, you can also connect external services through the Integrations tab on the left sidebar. This is where you link things like Stripe for payments, Slack for notifications, or Gmail for handling emails. These integrations allow your site to interact with other platforms without needing custom code, which is especially useful if you're trying to automate parts of your workflow. Another thing to check at this stage is responsiveness. At the top of the builder, there are toggle icons that let you switch between desktop and mobile views. It's worth going through both to make sure everything looks consistent. Even though Base 44 handles responsiveness automatically, reviewing it helps catch small layout issues before going live. When you're ready to make the site public, click the Publish button in the upper right corner. From there, you can choose to connect a custom domain by selecting Get Domain and entering the URL you want. If the domain is available, you can purchase it directly and link it to your site, which gives you a more professional-looking address. To finish, set the app visibility to public in the Publish menu so it's accessible without login. Then click Publish App. Once that's done, your site goes live immediately and you'll get a link that you can share with others. When you compare this to the traditional way of building websites, the difference really comes down to time, cost, and how much friction is involved. With the traditional route, you're either spending months learning how to code or hiring developers, which can easily cost anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. On top of that, there's usually a lot of back and forth just to make small changes, plus handling hosting, setup, and everything else that comes with it. With Base 44, that entire process is compressed into minutes. You don't need technical skills, you're not managing infrastructure, and you're not waiting on anyone to make updates. Everything happens in real time through simple prompts, and the full system, front end, back end, and hosting, is already handled for you. From a cost perspective, it's also a huge difference. Instead of paying thousands upfront, you're looking at a yearly subscription in a range of $500 to $1,000, which is significantly lower and makes it easier to actually test ideas without a big financial risk. What makes this more practical is how flexible it actually is once you understand how to use it. You're not just limited to building simple websites. You can create full business sites, portfolios, or even something like a professional resume that looks clean and works across all devices. It's especially useful if you want something polished without spending time designing everything from scratch. If you're thinking about selling something, you can also build e-commerce setups using the built-in Stripe integration. That covers both one-time payments and recurring subscriptions, so it works for digital products, services, or even membership-style offers. On the more advanced side, you can build internal tools as well. Things like task managers or custom CRM dashboards can be set up with user roles and permissions, which means different people can access different parts of the system without exposing everything. There's also the option to create customer portals. Instead of just having a public-facing site, you can build a private area where clients can log in, check progress, or view specific data tied to them. That's something that usually requires a full backend setup, but here it's built into the workflow. For startups, this becomes useful for prototyping. You can take an idea, turn it into something functional, and show it to users or investors without committing to a full development cycle. It's a faster way to test whether something actually works before scaling it further. And people are already using it in that way. There are projects like crypto trackers, affiliate marketing hubs, and even small SaaS tools that have been built and are now generating revenue through the Base 44 marketplace. And people are already using it in that way. There are projects like crypto trackers, affiliate marketing hubs, and even small SaaS tools that have been built and are now generating revenue through the Base 44 marketplace. And that's pretty much the full picture. You go from an idea to something structured to something that actually works, all in one place, without needing to switch tools or figure out the technical side in between. The process isn't really about building line by line anymore, it's more about making decisions, adjusting direction, and letting the system handle the execution. What matters more now is how clearly you can describe what you want. That's where most of the leverage is. Anyway, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, see you in the next one.